How's the volume? Checking, checking. Good? Okay. Welcome, everyone, to a Saturday with two monks today. We'll begin with announcements, I think. A mic over to Bonnie, I believe, and Christina over there.
Real quick, I just wanted to say that St. Mark's gives us this space freely and generously, and if you would like to donate, there is a box here in the back by me where you may do so.
Thank you, Ryan.
And I'm going to make you swivel. I'm back here too. Used Dhamma book exchange is happening back here, and there are tons of books, so thank you for bringing them in. And just remember to come back and collect your books at the end if they haven't been picked up, because we don't have space for that. But thank you for doing that. That looks really impressive. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I have an announcement for an open volunteer position. As many of you know, we have our Wednesday night interviews that most of the time are live, but there are moments when those are pre-recorded. And currently, Ajahn Kovilo has been editing those and is looking for some support in editing those pre-recorded videos. So if you have video editing skills and some open time in your week and are interested in potentially helping out with that, see me after the gathering and let me know. That would be a huge help. And the other thing we wanted to announce today, we wanted to spotlight someone who has given 1.5 years of their time to the community steward role. So Jeremy, if we could embarrass you and stand up for everyone. Jeremy, Bonnie, and myself, as many of you know, are community stewards, and we've dedicated a lot of time to the role over 1.5 years. And Jeremy has had to retire his role, and so we wanted to take the time to express our deepest gratitude. Jeremy has contributed so much friendliness and care to the role. He was our email steward for a very long time and sort of set the standard for our admin stewards who are now taking that on. And he just exudes grace, he exudes care, and that sense of community that we all really appreciate about Jeremy. So you will be truly missed. Bonnie and I will miss you so much, and we are so grateful for your contribution. It's been very important.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
I'm just saying ditto. Ditto. And please take the time to come and thank Jeremy for his time here. He really was just a pleasure to work with, and he has brought so much, like Christina said. So I know we're celebrating a lot today, and today's a big day, but just kind of give Jeremy that pat on the back. Thanks.
Jeremy also, we got him a cup, or Bonnie got him a cupcake this morning, and he taught us how to eat a cupcake. You take the bottom and you put it in, make it a little sandwich, and it's one of the many insights Jeremy has given us. So Jeremy really contributed a great deal, so just big sadhu, Jeremy. And with the video steward role, if people are interested, you will get sneak previews of the different interviews. And we interviewed Bhante Panyakara and of the Peace Walk monks and the dog, Aloka the Peace Dog. So that would be a huge help as well. And the used book exchange, just to give some deep gratitude to our librarians, Dory and Jessica, who are stewarding that thing as well. So 3 big sadhus for them also. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And finally, we have 3, we've been working with Ma Foster Alongi for Terra, and also just being hosted by St. Mark's for 3 years. So the first two are firms that helped us with the land search. So there are 3 thank you cards wonderfully bought and put out by Steve. If people have a chance to go back there when they're maybe looking at used books and just sign gratitude, it would mean a lot to have our community show that kind of care. And finally, Mom, did you have an announcement about TWISP? Sorry.
Yeah, hi, welcome everyone. Over Memorial Day weekend, 3 days, come to the base of the North Cascades on the sunny side. We have a weekend retreat in TWISP with Ajahn Nisabo and Mechi Panyasari. They'll both be teaching. And yeah, and I actually think some of the monastics from
Pariana.
Parayana Vihara might be coming too. The dates are May 23rd, 24th. So the 2 days, Saturday and Sunday's retreat, and it's easy to register. There's a flyer back there. There's a QR code, and all the information for lodging and camping is on the website. Hope to see you.
Thank you. And Ma, maybe you can post the link to that in WhatsApp after this for
I'm
people too.
going to do that, and Discord too.
Great. Pia. Oh, Ryan up here, sorry.
Buddhism is fun, and Theravadan Buddhism is an absolute hoot. So, thank you, Juanita. For those of you who are interested, there's a gallery talk at 1:15 in SAM by me. It's Anatta Fine Mess, and it's about the 3 characteristics and how they emerged and have played out in art. So you're welcome to join.
Thank you, Pia.
It will change your life.
Okay. Well, let's, with all those announcements made, let's chant together. We can do the chant on true and false refuges on page 69 of the chanting book. And the Pali is here, and whenever we move to land, we'll do a lot more Pali. But for some reason in the city, it seems like there's some hesitancy to wade into the Pali. So we'll just do the English in the italics. To many refuges they go, to mountain slopes and forest glades, to parkland shrines and sacred sites, people overcome by fear. Such a refuge is not secure, such a refuge is not supreme, such a refuge does not bring complete release from suffering. Whoever goes to refuge in the triple gem sees with right discernment the 4 noble truths, suffering and its origin, and that which lies beyond, the noble eightfold path that leads the way to suffering's end. Such a refuge is secure, such a refuge is supreme, such a refuge truly brings complete release from all suffering. I think we could have done the Pali, but let's meditate together. So today we'll give just a bit of guidance on some of the advice that the Buddha gave to his son Rahula about meditation, specifically teaching Rahula, make your mind like the earth, and Rahula, make your mind like empty space. So to start with, we can pay attention to the earthiness of the body. Coming to any meditation, this is what we find. We come to sit on a chair or on the floor, and we want to set this earthy body into a posture which is supportive of mental alertness and relaxation. So you can extend the spine, both allowing it to grow up into the sky and as if the bottom of the spine is plunging into the ground itself, extending up and extending down. And everything else, all the skin, muscles, all the internal organs can just totally relax around this central energetic axis. And with the body set up, we can now pay more attention to the mind. And people are, of course, welcome to practice with whatever your most comfortable object is, but it's also good to experiment sometimes, to have some flexibility in your meditation. And with that in mind, we just suggest those who are willing or interested to bring your attention to the parts of your body which are in contact with the earth, or in contact with the ground, or your chair, or your cushion, your feet, backs of the legs, bottom. And to be able to make our minds like the earth, we need to really feel into the earth and get to know the earth. And in a Buddhist conception of things, earth is symbolic of all that which is hard, all that which is solid, all that which is pulled down by gravity, the compactness of this form. And so what is the solidity, the earthiness of your body in contact with the solidity and earthiness of the ground? What does that feel like? And feel in and know the truth that, what does it feel like that every atom in your body is not any different from the atoms outside of our body? Carbon and the calcium, nitrogen, iron, all of that inside the body is exactly the same as the elements we're sitting on. Just manifesting as hardness, solidity. The only difference is that you can know from this earth. You can as if feel from the earth inside in a way you usually can't with the external earth. And allow awareness, the mind's eye, the mind's felt sense, to actually start scanning up. So through the legs, feeling the earthiness in different parts of the body now. In the legs, what is solid? What is weighed down? What is compact? And feeling the earth of the midsection, of the base, of the belly. What is this characteristic of earth? And what would it mean to have a mind that's like the earth? And paying attention to the earthiness of the chest, the upper chest. Skin, muscles, rib cage. Knowing earth from earth, inside the body. From a mind that's firm, that's steady, that's expansive and receptive. And feeling the earth in the hands and the lower arms. If your hands or your arms are on your legs, that contact, that weightiness. But not too different from a log on the ground, elementally. And the magic is that we can know from this earth. And feeling the upper arms. And if the mind is flitting off to some other thoughts, or is emoting, not liking this, or see if you can ground. Just earth from earth. And then up into the neck and the whole head. This whole skull. Simply earth. Simply solid. And having felt earth throughout the body, this likeness to the whole world, what would it be like to make the mind like the earth? How big, how solid, receptive can the mind be? And to exercise that flexibility, you can shift to knowing space. In the realm of physics, 99.9999999% of the body is space. And what does that feel like, that electron cloud of the body? Can you feel that? What is that? What might that feel like? It almost seems that if the body were totally just earth, there'd be no space to feel it. But there is space. I'm feeling it at the top of the head. It's contact on the surface and actually throughout the whole face and through the whole head. On the surface, you might feel tingles, you might feel heat. But really, the internal space is not different from the space outside the body. And can you even find a black and white boundary? What does space feel like from space? Moving awareness down into the neck and into the shoulders. Is there an energetic vibrance, this almost whir of sensation and feeling? Moving awareness down through the arms, the upper arms, the lower arms, and the hands. Are there tingles or flashes or a feeling of sparkle even that clues you in that, yeah, there's space here. There's actually abundant space that we seem usually so thick. And awareness into the space inside the chest and the belly. Again, is the only difference that we can't seemingly know from the space outside the body. And all the time seeing what would it mean, like the Buddha told Rahula, to make your mind like space, like open space. The lightness, the light, flexibility, openness. And allowing awareness to drop into the lower half of the body, into the legs, into the feet. And even into the seeming contact with the earth. On the level of physics, it's almost an illusion. It's actually just a space, a gap, atomically between us and the earth. But just feeling this aliveness. This is a mental training. And then just in the last minutes, seeing how easy it is to transition from the perception of space to the perception of love, of loving kindness, of metta. Already unbounded. No real demarcation where I stop and the world begins. Just may I be well, and may all beings be well. Above, below, around, and everywhere. Love from love, space from space. And if your heart meets a boundary, a person, or a limit, is it possible just to go through, and if not through, then around? No real need for limits on the level of space, on the level of love. Just resting.
for those who want to join in requesting the Dhamma talk. It's page 124. Rama Chaloka Dipati Sahampati Katanjalianan Diwaram Ayachata Santi Sasata Parajaka Jatika Dese Tudamam Anukam Bimam Pajam.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. So, today what might be one of the most important days we have in Mountain's history. Foreshadowing. And I wanted to begin by sharing an image I've shared before. Some of you may recognize it, but it's the image I would like to bring today. It is an experiment that Gene Weingarten, a famous reporter, did where they invited Joshua Bell, one of the foremost violinists in the world, after playing in the Chicago Stadium for hundreds of dollars a ticket on a $100,000 Stradivarius, to busk the next day in a subway and to see what happened. And I watched the footage again last night. It's on YouTube. And he's playing there, and you just see for an hour people walking past. Maybe they'll glance over and just keep on moving. And you just wish you could make them realize what they're walking right past. And it's tragic. And he seems like a ghost. And then you realize that he's the only real one, and everyone else is a ghost. And then in the footage, after about 25 minutes or so, one woman stops with a grocery bag in front of him and just stands listening. And then another person stops 5 feet away, and then another and another. And you see, unbidden through this lobby of movement, a sudden architecture of faith forming, where each person, touched with silence and with a note that they hear in the midst of this day and the static and the neon buzz of modern life, becomes a pillar or a column in some temple, which only begins to emerge as you see this image coalesce after 25 and 30 and 35 minutes, all stewarded and invoked by this song. And over these last few years, this is what we've found here. If you look around you, this is the architecture of faith we've built and touched and created in a gym. And yet, the brightness that it represents, how this, for many of us, is, I know, what we think about during the week, where our hearts have come to rest, what we've circled around and what our minds and hearts circled around. And for some of us, it's a beautiful note in the week. For others, it has been perhaps what literally saved us. The Dhamma is so many things to so many people, but above all, it is a refuge, and that is what the Buddha gave us in an open hand. And people have asked, moving up to this date of final due diligence with the land, are you excited? You must be excited. And that's the wrong word. Strangely, what's come up is last weekend, a friend, someone I know, the daughter of a friend, died in perhaps one of the most tragic ways I could imagine. And her family dissolved this last week in part, and my friend was broken open as well. But what's come to mind is that what we will have built and touched and created together, if we make this monastery, will be a refuge for so many beings. When land passes into the hands of the fourfold, the Sangha of the four directions, it becomes a monastery forever. At least, with the usual caveat of impermanence. But in perpetuity. And what we'll have created is a place that will serve as a refuge and a sanctuary for countless beings and generations, not for 10 years, not for 20, but hopefully for generations, hundreds, thousands of years, who knows? Thousands might be, maybe. But this is what we hope, is that this land and this monastery will be a refuge for each of you to come to, close enough to the city where you can come in the mornings early, if you get up early enough to come for morning and evening morning chanting and meditation as the sun comes up, where you can come when the monks will go on alms round in North Bend, and one monk will stay back to answer questions and receive the meal at 9 or so, where then anyone who wants any day can come and offer the meal and share it with those they have come to care about, find a sense of quiet. Then you can stay, meditate in a temple we hope to have, which will be silent, or work in the garden. It will be a refuge where you can lay the ashes of your dead. We're hoping to have a columbarium where you can walk in the forest in quiet, where you can spend any day you have off just sitting, reading, where this can be a centerpiece for all of our lives. It will be a refuge for monastics to practice, a place of convergence for bhikkhunis in the area, for monks. We hope to invite senior teachers. We hope eventually to have as many as 20 monks living and training there as well. And this is to say nothing of the non-human beings. At monasteries, you'll find the animals stop fearing humans. They'll come right up to you, which can be a bit intimidating with elk, I assume. There was a bunny rabbit that used to be at a Bhayagiri, and all the monks kept feeding it gummies until the abbot said, "You all have to stop feeding the bunny rabbit gummy bears." We're not sure what that does to bunnies. What? Non-marijuana. Yeah, good call. Thank you. Thank you. Good. Thanks for reading the mood up. So all to say, this is what we will hopefully have created together. And as these years move on, this is what I found as the great missing puzzle piece in people's lives as the future comes, as all the unknowns manifest, to have a place you can come and find refuge, teachings. And I've seen again and again that this becomes this centerpiece around which a life can circle. And for all of you who have helped to make it happen and will continue to, we rejoice in this moment. I think few of us have a chance to touch something this beautiful in our lives, and what a gift. And if you don't live in Seattle, consider visiting us and consider moving here. There's few things more precious to orient a life around than where you can have a community of practitioners like this. So it was years ago on Alms Round that Ajahn Kova and I were talking and talked about Clear Mountain for the first time, or maybe one of the first times. And I think we were saying, I've heard there's different phases for a monastery. There's like the commandos where you like, go in and you're like getting all muddy. Then you've got the army where you're kind of just, it's very militant. And then the police where you're just keeping things kind of calm. And we're like, I don't think we'll ever get to be commandos together, Ajahn, unless we do it now. So for my brother Ajahn Kovilo, I'm so grateful. He brings a depth and power to this whole project. For all of you who've helped bring this together, for all those who've supported it, and for some deep currents which have somehow stewarded us into this moment together, which, if you don't know the context of Theravada Buddhism in the world, is truly historic. Bhikkhunis, bhikkhus coming together, this spark of Dhamma in the West, and something growing, which hopefully we can help steward with careful hands over these coming years and a lifetime. So, Ajahn.
So I think most of you will know, because we pretty much talk about it every week, but this tomorrow, March 22nd, is the end of our 3 months of due diligence. So we put in an offer on 2 parcels of land, and tomorrow is the date that everything has to have come together by. And we'll have some announcements about that, some news on that in just a moment. But just, yeah, lingering in this space, grounding before there might be any kind of celebration or celebratory news, grounding before we raise the roof, so to speak. But it's important, that chant that we did, to many refuges they go to mountain slopes and forest glades, but such a refuge is not secure, such a refuge is not supreme, such a refuge does not bring complete release from suffering. It's very true. There's no geographic cure to suffering. If there was, we would just all live in Hawaii, basically. But here we are, and yeah, that's true. We can't go anywhere else. But at the same time, you did have the Buddha in his last sermon, the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, say that as long as there are practitioners practicing in forests, so long there will be the Noble Eightfold Path and people realizing the Dhamma. The preface to most every sutta where the Buddha gives his most explicit advice on meditation, he gives this advice. We have it on page 86, the teachings on mindfulness of breathing. Here, a practitioner goes to the forest, to the foot of a tree, or to an empty hut. These things are supports. Some people, if you know one word of Thai, it might be sabai, sabai, sabai. Sabai means it's all good, it's all good. And it's a very Thai vibe, but it actually comes from the Pali sapaya, which means appropriate. And the Buddha used this word in talking about an external locality for our practice. We're looking for sapaya senasana, sapaya vihara, a place of living, a place of dwelling, a place of practice, which is sabai, which is sapaya, which is appropriate and conducive to practice. So hopefully we'll have that, and hopefully we can make that together. We can ground into that sense of refuge, and we can also raise up and feel into that spaciousness of delight, which is really, I think, an outstanding specific characteristic of Clear Mountain, is that there is that sparkle. There is that sparkle. We've got a lot of groundedness, but there's also lots of glimmers in eyes, and it's a very unique thing we got going on here. And if we put down physical roots, then that'll instantiate itself. And there are Christian monasteries in Egypt, Buddhist monasteries in China, which are 1,700 years old, and who knows how long we might dig into the earth. Two fascinating concepts in the field of realty are ad inferos and ad silum, which are when you get a piece of land, the property ownership goes downward like a reverse pyramid down to the core of the earth. goes down to the core of the earth. So we will have a whole pyramid, an underground pyramid of power, of refuge. And we'll have up into the sky, ad silum, up to the heavens. I think actually literally we only get up to like 83 feet or so. And then like planes, we can't build much higher than that. But in theory, we've got up to the heavens. So that's the delight, the spaciousness of our practice. And we bring all of that. We got it in our bodies, and we'll bring it all to the monastery, and we co-create. That's the beauty of a monastery. It's not just the monks. It's not just the lay people. We all do it together. So with that, I'll pass it back over to my friend Ajahn Nisabel.
And part of that Clear Mountain Sparkle is something. So we're going to have the board and land development team come on up and share with people. And it's cake and balloons, which Allison and Bonnie got. Classic Clear Mountaineer style. And if we can get a mic great over here. Do we have Alex, land team, board? Come on up, Alex, land team, board. This is the moment. All right, balloons. There we go. And Ryan, the mic will go to Alex. That's perfect. And Christina, I suppose we can show that cake to the camera, although it'll drop off, which is a problem. So maybe point the camera at Alex. Let's do that. Oh, and yeah, perfect. Okay. Alex, please. Okay.
Test it. Okay. So, as this really beautiful cake is finding purchase, I just wanted to speak a little bit about what's been going on with the land. So, as many of you know, back in December, we put an offer out on 2 properties in North Bend. And for the last 3 months, we've been going through the process of due diligence, which ends tomorrow. Sorry, there's some technical stuff going on, which I'm not sure about.
We got lots of space here. No need to.
When Juanita gives an instruction, we listen because she's wise.
If Ajahn Kovil and I pass away, Juanita might be able to take things from here.
And I'll move once I'm done. Yeah. Thank you, Juanita. Okay, so over the last 3 months, we've been going through due diligence, and we've been working with a wonderful firm who has like a whole team of specialists. And for the last 3 months, they've been examining the land. They've been conducting environmental assessments, geotechnical assessments, biological assessments, civil engineering assessments, all kind of assessments. And basically, to sum up a 295-page technical memorandum, like, it pretty much checks out.
Clap, you can clap today.
Which, by the way, I didn't even read through the whole thing. That would be Nicole and Peter. So they'll talk more about that a little bit. So basically, this past Monday, our wonderful board here convened and voted unanimously to go ahead with the purchase of the land.
3 big sadhus at that juncture. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And as many of you know who've been on the website recently, the very next morning, a final donation came through that closed the funding gap. So we are now fully funded thanks to the generosity of so many people in this room and on Zoom and around literally the whole world who have given dana. We are now fully funded to support the purchase of the land for Clear Mountain Monastery. So, thank you all.
That's Alex, our wonderful land steward, as many of you know, and she moved across from East Coast, at least in part, to be with us and to be
100%.
100% to be with us. Okay. So just 3 sadhus for all of that. Yeah. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We're going to be doing a lot of those today. I think we pass now to Allison.
Yes, so I'm Allison, the treasurer for Friends of Clear Mountain. And yes, we filled the funding gap. And also we have over last I checked, 3.3 million in recitations of refuge towards this aspiration. There's a lot more to be done, but we're gonna be good right now because we have land. And I'm just gonna go a little rogue if it's okay. Sorry, but it's just like really hitting me. I've been doing the daily tasks that, as a treasurer for the board and, the board, and not really realizing, like I just said it this morning, that it's just like the aspiration is now a realization. It's come into, it's been realized that we have land. And yes, you might know the story that my husband, Dave, who's not with us today, he's taking care of our dog, Lucy. Thank you, Dave. But he asked me 4.5 years ago if we could have a monk stay in our backyard for 2.5 weeks. And I'm sort of just blown away. And I don't know, that was my practice, that's when it started. And just hearing a Dhamma talk, and I'm on the board and doing, just being here with everyone, and there's land. I'm really joyful to be at this moment. It's just, it's still kind of surreal. And I'm just grateful to have a space for these 2 wonderful monastics and those who might come, and then all the lay practitioners to sit with you. I'm so looking forward to sitting in quietude in the temple, and also working in the garden where there might be a little more talking. I don't know. Okay. Thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm just so grateful today. So I'll pass it to, I think it's Peter Hummel. Oh, no, it's Steve. Okay, Steve.
Hi, folks. I've got a piece of paper here because my memory doesn't necessarily track everything. So in terms of the donors, I just wanted to say that there's been a team of gratitude stewards that thank donors. Kim and myself and a bunch of other amazing people have been doing this the entire time. So it's just been so heart-moving to see how important this is to people. I mean, we talk to people, we call people up, and there's like, I've talked to a lady in Sri Lanka and Nova Scotia twice, and we get emails from India and all over the place. So it's just this evolution, and what these monks have been offering, both in person and online, has just been moving the hearts of so many people around the world. So we're all part of this incredible collective. And it's just stunning how much this has meant to so many. And during the purchase process, we deeply held the value and significance that, this $4.63 million was actually donations from individuals, many of whom are, $5, and that's what I can do because I'm on a fixed income. It's every single dollar was very precious. So during the negotiations for Terra, and there was an attorney and just some really skilled people in terms of the actual price that we paid. We were, without being pushy, we were pushy. So we got a good price. We were checking on the pricing in the area. It was very, very carefully done. So I think we can all rest assured that what was being paid for this land is actually a very fair price. And there's also very good relations with the sellers. So it's just been, increasingly good vibes. And by the way, I will say that Forterra and Mal Foster, both commercial, especially Mal Foster is a commercial company. Their hearts were warmed over the process of especially working with the monastics, but the whole thing, they really kind of got on board energetically. It's just been wonderful to watch this happen. So just a few other things I wanted to say. I've had a privilege to be on pilgrimage in places in Asia a number of times, sacred places. And it gives you some perspective, because any sacred place you go, that was created by people at a point in time, and then it came to have significance. And this is one of those. The turning of the wheel, the Dharma in the West is really important. When you get to Asia and like in Japan, find out how dried out the Dharma is there, except for in tiny little areas where people are super materialistic in general. What's happening here and the way the Dharma is pivoting into the West is not just like, oh, it's really over there and we're afterthoughts. No, this is really important, and what's happening with the Clear Mountain is really important historically. So I'm convinced that a century from now, this will be looked at as a big pivot point. And so, we're creating history, and when all of us are gone, like as in dead, this will be continuing. This is going to be continuing, and no one will remember, how did this get started? Doesn't matter. This will be continuing and benefiting people for generations and generations. So it's just immensely important. And here at a time of strife in the world, and that's another thing we hear from the donors, is how this is a place of light and love they want to give to, because everything seems so gnarly out there. So what we're offering here and what we're manifesting is enormously important in terms of that. And two more things. And in terms of women and the equality of women in the Dharma, the complete support of full ordination of women that these two monks have manifested out of the blocks, with some pushback and a little difficulty in the traditional world, they've been doing it, and that has made the harmony, the good vibes. There's now 2 viharas of female monastics in Washington, and a third one soon to start in Bellingham, having everything to do with what Clear Mountain is and the incredible welcoming and harmony between the male and female aspects of monasticism. So that is also immensely important. I mean, this is like not happening in Asia. It is happening here. This is it. This is the epicenter of that change. So that's just enormous. And lastly, in terms of some of you know I'm associated with Northwest Dharma Association, so it's 120 Dharma groups all through the greater Northwest, Montana, Alaska, and Western Canada. And this really stands out. And having 90 acres close to a city, I mean, Sravasti has more acres, but it's not close to a city. This is close to a city connecting to an urban area. It's unprecedented, and it's going to ripple through the Northwest Dharma world. It's going to really make a big difference. So amazing things happening here. Who am I passing to next?
Steve, our Vice President and Hype Man.
What am I? Hype Man.
Hype Man? No, it's not hype. It's not hype, dude.
No, that was
it's all real.
That was beautiful, Steve. Well said.
I'm a communicator. I don't know who's next.
Peter?
I think we got Peter next for due diligence.
Okay, hello. I'm Peter Hummel, and I have been the owner's rep during due diligence, working with Mal Foster Alonji. And it's been a wonderful experience to work with them and to work with the board and the Ajahns. And just wanted to, I know I did this last week, but I was asked to do it again, just summarize what was found. So it was a 3-month investigative process to make sure that this land is suitable for the intended purpose of a monastery. So first of all, there's no issues with environmental contamination on the land. Secondly, in terms of the building, the infrastructure, the civil engineering part, utilities, roads, on-site sewage system, all those things checked out as being feasible. And third, in terms of, we talked about the earth this morning. We have geotechnical engineers dig 10 or more test pits and to investigate the suitability of the earth to support buildings to allow for infiltration of stormwater that runs off of impervious surfaces, and just the stability of the land, because there are a lot of steep areas, and all of those checked out really well. So it's very important, fundamental. And then in terms of some of the factors that we have to really navigate around as we go forward, those include the biological aspects in terms of wetlands and streams, and traffic issues with, how much traffic is generated by this use in a rural area. And that all comes out and gets resolved through the permitting process, which is a federal, state, and local process that we need to get permits through. And we now have a clear picture that that's feasible, but it will be, and we know the path through it. So this process has helped clarify that that's a multi-year process. It has to be integrated with a number of design steps, and we will need professional support to get through that and do it the right way. So I think now I'm going to talk to the map on the screen.
Should we? I think we do. We probably have time. Yeah, do you think it's... Let's do it. Can we pin the map? Great, yeah. Come on up, Peter. And if you want to zoom in on that, Cheryl or Trenton, a little bit, it's going to be a little hard for people to see. Ryan, if you're able to zoom in on it at all, or even bring the camera a little closer so it can envision the map on the screen. We'll leave this map up after the gathering so people can come over. We'll have the land and board team near the TV so you can ask them questions and look at the map, which Peter drew without the help of AI. That's right.
Yeah, I don't know if you can just show the upper half, but anyway. First of all, this map is a summary visually of what was found through due diligence. So first of all, east is to the right and west is to the left. And the line down the middle are the two properties. The western one's 40 acres, the eastern one's 50. And there's a number of things about the eastern part that are really important to the monastery, and there's the main access, Cedar Falls Road, is here. It's the lower side of the site, and there's an existing driveway and a new loop road that will need to be constructed in order to gain access to the middle of the site, which is where the monastery development will be located. So there's kind of a beautiful balance with this property between the west side being low and but has all of these wetlands, 6 wetlands and 2 streams, and the eastern side, which is higher and drier and has beautiful views of Mount Si, and the middle where everything comes together in the monastery. And I think as you come into the site, if those of you who've been out there, it's a really beautiful experience to enter through these kind of very vibrant landscape that attracts wildlife. It also prevents flooding and purifies water naturally. And and you enter the monastery that's very secluded by these different environments on either side of it, and secluded from the neighbors. So I'm going to pass it on to whoever else.
It's beautiful, Peter. Peter's a landscape architect and has been key in this process in identifying buildable areas and more. And just to flesh this out a bit, as we've gotten to know the land, the vision of the monastery has kind of evolved with it as is appropriate. So this vision of the eastern half, which is open. Oh. We'll leave this up for people. So the vision of this eastern half, which is open, there's alders, birds, sunlight, is where people will come in and we'll have raised boardwalks, raised meditation platforms, Buddha images, the columbarium perhaps, who knows. But this is where people can walk and sit. And it's a bit of a yin and yang. where on the left side, the western parcel, is this sort of beautiful coniferous forest where there's an elk migration corridor that runs through it. And we've seen 3 or 4 herds of elk since we've been there. And that's where we'll scatter the monastic huts. That'll be the monastic center. And it's 40 plus acres. It's a lot of land. And then in the middle, and this is the beauty, is in the middle we have these really large buildable areas. I think this is nearly a 1/4 mile in length. I mean, it looks like a small block, but this is a lot of land. And this is where we're hoping to have, the parking lot for people to park, the multipurpose hall where people can share a meal, where there'll be the library, the workshop, the garden, and more. And then up here, Peter identified these sort of ridges which overlooks all of it and sees out to Mount Sinai, and that's where we'll have the temple. Perhaps, this is all, who knows what'll happen, but that might be where the temple is. And that's kind of what's just beginning to emerge in the mind, but we'll, over these next months, begin planning and looking at what will come of this as well. Anything to add, board or land development team? Okay. I think next we have Kim.
So next steps. So closing is for both properties should end by April 30th. It might end sooner. We have a lot of really beautiful guidance from skilled lawyers and Forterra helping us through the closing process and creating the contracts and the final deed. So we have a really skilled team to help us through that soup, which is underway. And then we will be getting the existing cabin that's there ready for the monastics to live in temporarily. So there might be opportunities to volunteer to help get that suitable for the monastics to move into, which is pretty exciting. We will, of course, then be needing to decide on an architect and a design team and that whole next realm. Lots of things still sort of moving along. And then I guess we build a monastery. So it will be the sort of never-ending process, I think, for a while, but it's also amazing. And just a sort of side note, when the last time I was there, sort of walking the land with Master Ji, and just his beautiful guidance on listening to the land and letting the land really speak to you, and it was really powerful for me. And there was one point where we were walking, and I just started weeping, and I didn't even know exactly why, except that I could just feel the presence of the monastery. Like I really felt like, this is where it is. This is here. Like I could feel its presence already. And woot! I guess that's all I have to say. So thank you so much. Just incredible privilege to be on this path with you. And we did it. We did this part of it, anyway. Now we got to do the rest.
I just want to add on the heading of gratitude. Without St. Mark's, I don't know how we would have done this. And it's just unbelievable that they have made this space available simply for Donna for this entire time. And not only that, I mean, we meet with them once a year. We have a dinner once a year. They're very supportive of the vision, and that in fact they're helping this monastery happen. So in the back, there's 3 cards. There's one for St. Mark's, there's one for Mal Foster, and one for Forterra. And if you all would just go back there while you're eating stuff and sign thanks, just fill them up with all kind of thank you, whatever, and we're going to mail them to them. So please do that.
I'll quickly open this to the group. group in a second, but just to tag on to that briefly, many of you know we've carefully structured our organization based on a Bayagiri's model, where we have a lay organization that handles funds and provides expertise and guidance, and that's Friends of Clear Mountain. And then we have a separate parallel monastic organization that doesn't have anything to do with money and is sort of able to remain at a remove from that whole realm. So we've tried to navigate this with real care and never make people feel pressed at all. And that ethos will continue forward. Ajahn Covenant are happy just to live on the land for, as we have a hut apparently, or soon will. And we really will see what manifests. Will continue to meet at St. Mark's for Saturdays for quite a long time, we think, until we can meet on the land. But when we do move, perhaps in June and July, we'll begin having the other days. People can come in the morning. We'll have work parties to create trails, to build platforms, to garden, to kind of create a monastery together. And that'll be one of the most fun parts of this whole thing. And that'll go for as long as we want it to. And we'll just see what happens as faith gathers. Ajahn Kovilo and I are planning to invite our elders and teachers. We hope to get Bhikkhu Bodhi to come, Longpa Pasano, all of our kind of beautiful teachers. Ayananda Bodhi obviously will hopefully visit soon. But we'll just see what evolves over these coming years. May 2nd is our first, hopefully, visit to the land together. It's a Saturday, so that'll be our celebratory visit after closing. And that's all I got. Oh, and one other thing is there's one very important absent member of this team, and that's Anagarika Kema, who was Brianna, who was our land steward for a full year and more through the most difficult part of this whole thing to some extent, or a part where we were navigating a lot with a different property. And she wishes she could be here, but if we can just do 3 big sadhus for her. She's at Parayana Vihara now training to be a monastic. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And maybe we can open it up to the team to speak a bit more about any other thoughts that came. We have Susan, our architect consultant, Hayden, our architecture consultant as well, Nicole, our secretary, and others, please.
I'll just speak very briefly. When I carry a bug out of my house, I like to just consider that it's, at least in my cosmology, taken reality 13.8 billion years to create this being, and that I'm descended from beings that are far more modest than it. And who knows what it may become in the next 13.8 billion years. And I feel like we're at an extraordinary moment. Who knows? It's taken reality 13.8 billion years to create this moment in Clear Mountain. And who knows what it may become. And I just kind of feel odd and privileged.
I'd like to, I'm Nicole Jarosinski, board secretary, for those of you I haven't met yet. And I wanted to thank everybody who has volunteered on this project, everybody up here, those who couldn't make it today, like Anagarika Kema, and other people who have contributed to the land search along the way, the prior Secretary Rahul before me, also Sandra, who was a volunteer realtor, got this whole land search started. It's super important. And there's so many other people also who offered their expertise along the way, and we wouldn't be here without all of those people and all of you. So again, thank you.
Sandra's actually here. Sandra, would you stand? Nope. Okay. Yes. All right. Let's give 3 sadhus for Sandra too. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. You have a home here, Sandra. And to just, before I think others may have something to say, but just to, all the people up here put in days of time. Nicole did read that 300-page thing, plus another 700-page environmental rundown.
It was over 1,000 pages.
Never mind, it's over 1,000 pages. So if we can just, there's so much work that's gone into this moment. If we can just get 3 more sadhus for everyone up here. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And the sparkly fingers. Okay, let's get that too. Okay. Susan?
Oh, I just wanted to second that. I have done a lot of due diligence phases in my professional life, and I've just been astounded by the level of commitment and dedication and professionalism of this team and of the consultants. I feel very honored to have played a very small part in this, and super excited for what's to come. As many of you know who've been out to the land, it's a beautiful place and there's so much potential. So this is just a wonderful moment in our beginnings.
Just to say it would be awesome and very weird if the monastery was still here in 13.7 billion years. But I do sincerely hope that all of us do attain Nibbana before then. So sooner the better. Sooner the better.
So what we're going to do now is maybe invite the Board and Lands team to, everyone could keep sitting here actually, but afterwards we'll have those who are able come over near the map on the television, and people can just come and ask questions and look at the map and more. But we want to open up the space now for anyone in the audience to just speak about any hopes you have for this monastery, or should we open up questions at the same time or save those until after? Not sure either. If you have some hope or aspiration you want to articulate for the monastery, then you can raise your hand, or if you have questions, that's fine, and we'll have more chances to answer as well. And Ryan will run a mic over to you.
Namaskar, พระอาจารย์ I'm from Thailand and grew up in the village near the area where Luang Por Cha was. And I remember when I was childhood to have the feeling of offering the meal to the monastics every day. And the family come out, the children come out to offer and practice generosity daily. And this is real here. It's gonna be like that in Thailand. It's unthinkable. So I'm so sometimes I'm surprised. Ajahn, are you surprised that this is gonna happen here? I'm surprised so much that so much support and so much generosity, and even I told people in Thailand, I said 5 million in 5 years that people donate. And it's mostly the new, not from Thailand. Maybe Thailand is different, but here the new people who are interested in the Buddhist and donate this much. And I'm so very happy. No word can explain. Thank you, Ajahn, and thank you for all of your hard work, for work hard to have this monastery to make the family of normal Buddhist family to have the feeling like when I was a child. Thank you.
I look forward to the social and economic impacts we'll have on North Bend and to starting the Sunday school. No pressure.
We can just make Anjali to acknowledge each person, or hand to the heart, either way.
I just want to thank everyone who's had part in this. And I also want to bring up the indigenous people who lived on this land before the current owners and before us, and how many thousands of years they kept this place in, in a wonderful shape so that here we are now. And I personally don't know the names of those indigenous people, but I'm sure someone does, and maybe we can include land acknowledgements. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. The Snoqualmie tribe is the stewards of the land where we are now going to be. And we're in contact with Bonnie Duran, who's a Dharma teacher and First Nations member as well, and she'll be our liaison to create that relationship.
And please do talk your child to coming in and moving into the monastery with us. He's a monk, so yeah, he's not just a child, he's a monk.
I also was thinking very much about the land and wondering whether there's any talk or consideration of sustainable energy, rainwater catchment, and systems like that. When you mentioned Ajahn, what are our hopes and dreams for how this might progress? That's definitely strong in my mind. So if anyone has any thoughts, would love to hear it.
We'd like to do that, absolutely. We'll just begin now looking into the design process, but those are key in our minds as well. So thank you, Julie.
And there are something called wooks or Wookiees where you can strap ropes around trees and live in them. Might have small things like that for the monks. So.
We have Gail on Zoom.
Sangvara, Gail. Gail's brother was one of the first assistants for Longport Cha, Pabakaro. And their family hosted Ajahn Chah when he was visiting.
So my calendar tells me it's National Daffodil Day, and these were going to be delivered to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha in person today at Clear Mountain. However, Annie, my little dog, has had a bit of a rough weekend last night, so I made the decision to to stay home with her. But so I offer these, and I'm so touched by this, and to watch this come to fruition. Well done, everyone. Well done. And I'm just completing my will, and I hope I hang on until the columbarium is available, and because I haven't known what to put into where my ashes should be scattered. So sadhu, just so touching, and my heart is full.
We don't have as much time as we would wish today, because we do need a group photo at the end, but we have another 2 or 3 questions, I think, and then we'll have years to answer more. Carl, in the back. Oh, Matt first.
I look forward to removing the European holly from the property. And Hasachito and I together invite you to join us in that endeavor.
At this time, I just wanted to reflect on the first time that I had heard someone was interested in coming to Seattle, and that was when we were part of a small group that met once a month, Carson's group. And Carson was very excited about this opportunity to help bring monks to the arena. I know Steve was a big part of that also, and I just wanted to reflect back on those names. Thank you.
I may not be around for more than the next year, but even though I might not see the building of the monastery, I am absolutely confident that through the creation of this in the world, we are all as a whole benefiting. And it has been an absolute privilege to spend the last 5 years following you guys around.
Hasachita was part of the first 4-person gathering in Lincoln Park, our first Saturday, 5 years ago.
I just wanted to say I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful to everyone who worked so hard on this for so long. It's very, very touching. I was surprised how teary I've been this week. I want to thank Janisabo for going to monk school instead of grad school, because that was that helped to fund. Invested well with Apple. And thank you, Gail, for the. My hope is that we're around for the before we die to see the temple. But the columbarium, okay, we can, maybe both. Would really love to see things. And so happy and grateful.
Maybe one more.
Well, thank you all. It's been really moving just to be here today and hear about all the hard work and contribution. And I just remember it being like a really moving experience for me, being in like my late teens, spending some time in a monastery, and that just being like a backbone of my life growing up. And I'm curious, in the monasteries that I've spent time in, I haven't really seen children or young people, and as an expecting mom, I'm wondering, is there going to be a role for children in a monastery? Is there in other countries? Are infants welcome in these spaces?
Absolutely. I think that's a real hope is we have like kids camps during the summer and then a kids room where people can play, and then hopefully if someone's willing to step up as help out with a bit of Sunday school if there's room. I mean, these are all aspirations, but we would, we're not a complete community unless we're providing some space for that as well, I think. So hopefully we'll have that also. Plus, Stefan just volunteered to run a Sunday school, so yeah. Okay, all. We'll have more chances to talk. Any Wednesday evening when we have our Zoom sessions, that Q&A can be used to ask questions about the land. That's 7 to 7:45 p.m. Pacific time. We'll also, after Ajahn Kovilo and I emerged from winter retreat in mid-April, we will begin really working to catalyze conversations for people here and elsewhere around connecting to, living in Seattle and nearby is expensive, and we understand that, but we really want and hope that by connecting people with a little bit of help from the Dhamma and the Devas, things can happen that are quite magical. So we'll begin to connecting people so that those all can come, hopefully, into people's possibilities. Okay. So I think what we're going to end with, as we usually do, is the blessing braid and hold people in our hearts.
We have for Kathy going through kidney failure from Ryan, for Jigon, Cannon, daily physical chronic pain and challenges from Victoria, for Sandra, wish good luck for an easy move and a blessed new beginning from Ajahns, for Spooky and Koji, 49 days after these two beloved animal companions passed, good wishes for them and their human parents. Grief, gratitude, and that's from Grief, Gratitude, and Goodness Group. For Julie, diagnosed with dementia from Karen. For Sumali Washburn, experiencing health difficulties, please send metta from Ladawan and Ajahns. For Greg, recently health concern, please send metta from Ladawan and Ajahns. For Jean Deschenes, may his heart surgery be successful from Steve Wilhelm. For mother of Tessa, mother passed away this week, please send metta for a good rebirth from Tessa. For Ashley's mom, undergoing high-risk surgery, please send metta to her and her family from Monica. For Lemmy, may her cancerous tumor removal surgery be successful from Monica. For Kate, heart-based dukkha, send love from Ajahns. For Annie, Gail's dog, for her ongoing health issues and care from Gail. And for Herman, lying on his deathbed, please send metta for him and his family from Timo.
Thank you, Trenton. And any other names to bring into the space? Yeah, Judith, please. Marjorie, 50th anniversary death. Thank you, Judith. Yeah, please, Betsy. Is that Evelyn? Evelyn, yeah. For Megan. Please. Andrea and Olivia Bartlett. Yeah, Glenn. for Matt and Mary's partner who passed away. Father, thank you. Sorry. For Eric. And for Kate. Martha, Bob, and Karen. Okay, let's just sit with those names for just a moment, dedicating any goodness from our practice, from our lives, from our goodness to all those named and all those who weren't named. And continuing that practice by chanting into the space. On page 33 are the verses of sharing an aspiration. Just however this might happen, just dedicating the goodness of our lives to all those who we mentioned. Just spreading metta. Now let us chant the verses of sharing an aspiration. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, may my spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the sun and the moon, virtuous leaders of the world, may the highest gods and evil forces, celestial beings, guardian spirits of the earth, and the Lord of death, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, and through this act of sharing, may all desires and attachments quickly cease, and all harmful states of mind, until I realize Nibbana in every kind of birth. May I have an upright mind, with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold, nor weaken my resolve. The Buddha is my excellent refuge. Unsurpassed is the protection of the Dhamma. The solitary Buddha is my noble guide. The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the supreme power of all these, may darkness and delusion be dispelled. And if we have anybody here who's here for the first, second, or third time, and you might be so willing and bold to actually stand up and say your name and how you heard about Clear Mountain, it's always nice to meet new people. All right. All right. Anna and Catherine, welcome. Sadhu. Name is Clark. Clark, welcome. Awesome. Welcome, Jason. Awesome. Welcome back, Ian. Hey, Taylor. Welcome back.
So, most of you know, monastics in our tradition don't touch money, we don't use money. Everything here is freely offered, including the huge amount of cake in the back, including a gluten, vegan-free, and soy-free option by Allison. So that's all in the back. Yes, got it. Threefold. There's also a reminder about the Hughes Book Exchange. Please partake of that. Get yourself a name tag if you haven't gotten one yet. Additionally, just we encourage people to, the first person you speak to, try to have it be someone you haven't talked to before, just to really keep any sense of clickiness from forming and first foster that feeling of inclusivity. If you're interested in the video steward role, talk to Christina. Christina, can you raise your hand? Oh, over there, sorry. And additionally, we'll have the board and land team over here to answer questions. They might have to quickly go get cake first. And I want to give a special thanks. Most of this team will remain with us in various capacities. Peter might, but his big sprint, and he put in days and days of work to this, was getting us through this 3-month due diligence phase. Peter, if we can just, 3 big sadhus for Peter Hummel. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And the board. One more time for the board and land development teams. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We were in the car with Peter, and I said if he's willing to keep on being our owner's rep, if he should blink once. And then we just stared at him until... Oh, Jay Harrington. Jay Harrington was one of the people from the beginning who was instrumental as a consultant and more. So to Jay Harrington, 3 more sadhus. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. If you don't know what sadhu means, this will have been a confusing gathering for you. Means way to go. That was awesome. So I would like to invite people, stick with us a little longer. This is a long one. But for those who are interested and willing, if you could come outside of the hall, we're going to take a few pictures. So we'll all gather as a group, and we'll have the group in front hold a few signs that say thank you, and then kind of address the key organizations that have helped us. So I know even if you're shy, it's, if you're too shy, it's okay, but otherwise it would mean a lot if people are willing to kind of lend their face to this gratitude just after bowing. So for those who want, you may bow now to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. No pressure. After the bowing, yeah. And Dad, my dad used to be a middle school vice principal, so he can direct people very effectively. And wave goodbye to our friends on Zoom. And if we could just have one more round of applause for the fact that we have a monastery.